Whether you love him or hate him, over the past few months, Ian Garry has definitely been one of the biggest talking points in the whole MMA community for, I'd say, about 2 months now. He's kind of died down a wee bit after he pulled out of his fight, and since then, you know, he's released a statement saying, you know, he was ill, and with that, he posted photos of him essentially being ill, which are rumoured to have been taken by Layla, his wife, and then there's been a few things that have come out through Layla's Twitter, Layla's social media, that we're going to speak about today. But first, guys, one thing to ask you is if you wouldn't mind going and subscribing if you do enjoy the content, if you do enjoy the videos. Around 84% of you guys are not subscribed who watch these videos, which is just insane, and I'm only about 50 subscribers away from 1,000, and it would be like a lifelong dream to hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a wee sub, if you enjoy the content, if you think you get along well with me, that would be great. I'm fighting tomorrow night as well. So if you wouldn't mind heading over to the vlog channel, you can watch the full fight reaction the day after I fight, obviously. So that'll be like the 31st of the 1st that video will come out. So yeah, anyway, let's get right into it. Essentially, folks, what I want to say is these photos, right, they are weird looking. You know, there's one of Ian Garry lying down in the doctor's office on his side, his face covered. There's one of him on the sofa. There's one of him outside on the chair, just looking worse for wear, looking ill. And I think, as Layla's his manager, he's saying, look, we have to, Ian, I think you should post these photos to prove to people you are actually sick, and that it's not because you're being called a cock, it's not because you're being called this, it's not because you're being called that. And right enough, okay, that's realistically a smart decision. Now they're saying, oh look, Layla's making him pose for these to pretend that he's ill and all. I do believe he pulled out because he was sick, and I think it's very good that he missed that media day. I think he could have become the biggest superstar in UFC history if he had turned up. And I say UFC history, that's a bit of an over-exaggeration, that's a bit extreme. But can you imagine Ian Garry turned up to that press conference and then went, fuck Layla, I'm getting rid of her, dumped her on stage. I know another YouTuber came out saying that exact thing. Like, I think it was the MMA Guru came out and said, if he dumps Layla on stage, that would be the biggest thing that happens in the biggest moment in the history of the UFC, and that would have broken the internet because of how big the situation was, you know. And people are saying, oh, it's not that big of a situation. Ian Garry's only got 500,000 followers. No one wants to follow him. That was the whole point. He was so famous, and no one wanted to follow him. He was actually losing followers because of how big the situation was, and they absolutely both got slaughtered and ripped to pieces, so no one really wanted to give him that follow. But I can assure you, I was followed. I couldn't wait for it to hear him come out with stuff, and when he turned off his comments, I made the video on that as well. A lot of people liked that. It's a crazy situation, and I'm absolutely buzzing for the future of the situation, because I know as soon as he gets against, he put Geoff Neal on who he's fighting next, on his mugshot on his t-shirt. I think Geoff Neal should come out with cock written on a t-shirt or something. And another thing, Layla and Ian Garry, right? They've denied Layla especially has denied the fact, and Ian has denied the fact that he took her ex-husband's last name. And okay, maybe it's a part of Layla's last name now, but it wasn't. It was the ex-husband's last name. Layla's last name is Anna Lee. Ian Garry's last name is Garry. Machado came from Layla's ex-husband, and because Layla's son, who she had with the ex-husband, has the last name Machado, Layla has kept that name, and Ian Garry has added that name. That name originated from the ex-husband. So for anybody that wants to come out and be like, oh no, like they've denied that, it's fucking bullshit. They're just saying it. It's like, oh, I would never like if I had a girlfriend, right? Let's put this in fucking perspective. If I ever had a girlfriend and she previously was married and she kept the ex-husband's last name and then said, look, to feel like more of a family, can you please have this last name because I've got a son who's got this last name, to make us all feel like one family? I'd say absolutely not. First of all, I'm not that kid's dad. That's regardless. I can love and I can care for that kid, but I'm not his dad. His dad's his dad. So show the respect to his dad. I'm not going to take the dad's last name. I have no relation to him, to make the kid feel more included. The kid has a dad, you know what I mean? And you can be loving and caring, but I think that's completely unnecessary. I think that is kind of cock behaviour. I think Layla wanted that for some reason, and Ian went along with it because he's consumed by love, and it's weird. It's not correct. I just wanted to add that little section to the video, and it's just crazy. It's just anyway, moving on though, these photos, right, they're going to be in the thumbnail of the video. Go on Ian Garry's Instagram if you want them. Layla obviously took them. Layla runs his social media. Layla's his manager. Yes, I know that is weird. Essentially, what fans are saying is that it's fake. Guys, it's not fake. He definitely was ill. It's just convenient, you know what I mean? And he's coming back in February. He's making a quick turnaround. You know, he's meant to fight in December. He's given himself like 8 more weeks, which is completely justified. He was in good shape. He probably took about 2 weeks off. He's still in good shape. Give him 6 weeks to get back in there, and he was meant to come back in March, but now they're saying February. I think Ian Garry will get a good 3 fights in this year. I think he'll fight February, then he'll fight July, International Fight Week, then I think he'll fight Dublin at the end of the year. I think he'll fight in Dublin around October, November, December in about a year's time, and that'll be a really cool card. And I think the Dublin card will be towards the back end of the year. I think they'll try to get McGregor in summertime, maybe just before summer, then give him his potential last fight in Dublin if he does get the win, which I think would be insane, and with Ian Garry on the card as well. And obviously if Ian Garry goes out there and gets a win and just embraces this whole cock thing and starts saying, oh, you were just beat by the cock of the division and all this, and he starts saying, I'm gonna make you guys my bitch and all this, I think Ian Garry has the potential to be one of the biggest superstars in the sport, just because of how everyone hates him. And it's when you look at Paddy Pimblett, he's a much bigger superstar than Ian Garry at the moment because he's so much more famous. However, Ian Garry's skill set and the fact he's a striker plays into, and Ian Garry's has a better skill set than Paddy Pimblett in my opinion. If you're going skill for skill, and that holds a lot more value in terms of the future and the potential. Because if Paddy Pimblett goes out and loses again, it's a bit like, okay, yeah, we know he's not going to be a champion, but now behind Paddy Pimblett is the whole thing of, we definitely know he's not going to be a champion, but he keeps winning, you know, so we can't really discredit him. And also, I love how all the Tony Ferguson fans are like, oh yeah, it's Tony time, the blades are coming out. I said it in my prediction. Tony's last 7 fights, he said it against Gaethje, the blades are coming out. He said it against everyone. They didn't come out. Tony Ferguson's a shell of himself. I don't want to see Tony Ferguson fight again. I just can't, as a fan, I can't do it. I said Paddy Pimblett was going to maul him, and Tony's just not himself. Tony's fucking crazy. He's saying he's going to fight 5 more times and come back and get a title shot. It's making me cry. What the fuck? Oh, I can't. I'm actually tearing up. That was so funny. I shouldn't laugh, but like, oh my god. Anyway, back to the original point of the video. Layla needs to stop being his manager. Layla needs to quit being Ian Garry's manager. Layla being Ian Garry's wife being his manager is a massive problem. And that's all I want to say. Give me your thoughts on it, guys. And as I said, please drop a sub if you wouldn't mind. And I need to go relax. Like, I can't stop thinking about Tony Ferguson now, and this is a video on Ian Garry and Layla.